Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. So, gonna give you Manchester United's best 11 as it stands at this present time. So, Dean Henderson in goal, because like I've said to you, I think Solskjaer needs to put Dean Henderson as number one for this season. Because I think now Dean Henderson is reliable enough to become our number one goalkeeper, because Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him, because he recently enjoyed two successful loans with Sheffield United and he was Sheffield United's player of the season. Dean Henderson has had quite a few loan spells, not only with Sheffield United, with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. Obviously, we got Dean Henderson back in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him at the age of 14. So Dean Henderson has been part of the club for several years. Solskjaer did recently say, though, that Dean Henderson is not yet ready to become number one, and he was looking to loan him out again for this season. And Solskjaer said he wants to stick with David De Gea for at least this season as number one. Don't forget, Dean Henderson did recently sign a new 5-year contract with Man United with an option of a further year. So in total, it's a 6-year deal worth around 120 grand a week. Dean Henderson has threatened to leave Manchester United if he isn't assured to be number one this season. And Wan-Bissaka, obviously at right back. And Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back. Obviously, this season is going to be his second season at Manchester United. Last season was obviously his first season at the football club. And I think for the vast majority of last season, he was exceptional. He's just lacking that attacking intent, so we need to see more of the attacking side of Wan-Bissaka's game. Obviously, we've got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. Don't forget, it did say he was set to miss the start of pre-season training the other week because he recently travelled to Dubai. Centre-back partnership, obviously Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Obviously, if we get a centre-half in, then it'll obviously be someone else alongside Harry Maguire. Victor Lindelof, there's definitely aspects of his game that I've got to improve. Victor Lindelof has endured around 3 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we paid £30 million for Victor Lindelof from Benfica back in 2017. He's definitely not on Harry Maguire's level. So there is uncertainty regarding his future. Harry Maguire, obviously, this is going to be his second season at Manchester United, and definitely there's aspects of his game that's got to improve. Don't forget, Harry Maguire was recently given extra time off, reflecting on his court case in Greece and his arrest in Greece. We know that Harry Maguire is going to remain Manchester United captain this season. I did say Solskjaer's got a decision to make on Harry Maguire. But yeah, last season was his first season at the football club. We did get Harry Maguire in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester last summer. Left back, Luke Shaw. Because obviously, Luke Shaw is our first choice left back. Obviously, if we was to sign Sergio Reguilon, then I presume that he'd probably be our first choice left back. Or if we signed any other left back, but we may not sign him. So yeah, Luke Shaw, left back. Luke Shaw's endured 6 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we got him from Southampton back in 2014 for £30 million. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he is injury prone. Obviously, towards the end of last season, he sustained an ankle injury. He was out for the first part of last season, don't forget. First part of last season, yeah. Obviously, we've got Brandon Williams. He's our backup left back. I think Brandon Williams enjoyed an exceptional season last season. He did. And it was his first season in the senior squad. But Brandon Williams does need to get a bit more experience behind him, because obviously Luke Shaw's more experienced than Brandon Williams. The mids, Paul Pogba and Donny van der Beek. Paul Pogba will stay at Manchester United for this season. I think we do need to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the football club to end the uncertainty over his future, because Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. Now, don't forget, Pogba's agent Mini Raiola the other week said that Paul Pogba is staying at Manchester United, and he said that he will hold talks over a new contract. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. A few weeks before the end of last season, it said that Pogba was close to signing a 5-year contract with Manchester United. Obviously, towards the end of last season, I thought Paul Pogba was exceptional. I thought his combination with Bruno Fernandes was very, very good. And he did well in some of our Europa League games, but for the vast majority of last season, didn't really have a perception on Paul Pogba because he was out with that ankle injury. Pogba has sustained a few injuries as a Manchester United player. It wasn't so long ago that he celebrated his 4-year anniversary at the football club. Now, around this time last year, Paul Pogba did make an admission saying that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge. And, he publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the football club, but he was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. There was also talks about him going back to Juventus. Because Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus, PSG, Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before. And I said, didn't I, earlier on this year, we was very, very critical of Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, because Mini Raiola publicly criticised Solskjaer and Manchester United. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. Pogba's won 2 trophies at the football club, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. Obviously, Pogba endured a difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era, but all our top players endured a difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. Don't forget as well, Pogba not too long ago got tested positive for coronavirus. He might have nearly gone now, but I said, didn't I, hope Paul Pogba and his family all the best. Donny van de Beek. He's obviously our first signing of this summer transfer window, and he's our 5th permanent signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Earlier on this week, Donny van de Beek to Manchester United was official. Obviously, Donny van de Beek has signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United. That'll obviously keep him at the club until 2025, and there's also an option of a further 12 months. We've got him in a deal worth £39 million. I think we've paid just over £34 million up front, and there's £4.4 million in add-ons. Don't forget, on Monday, Donny van de Beek completed his medical in the Netherlands. Before it was official, Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he had said that Donny van de Beek to Manchester United was a done deal. Also to Mohamed Bouafsi, he also said Donny van de Beek to Man United was a done deal. But when it's stemming from Fabrizio Romano, I do believe that there is a lot of trustworthy in it. I think it did say he's set to travel to the UK, Donny van de Beek, after Netherlands game against Poland. Is it today? But I'm very, very shocked because I didn't think, Manchester United would have signed Donny van de Beek. Because it wasn't really a long transfer saga, was it? Of us being in for Donny van de Beek. Totally comparison to the Jadon Sancho transfer saga. We was in for him, but we weren't relentlessly linked to him because obviously, Arsenal were in for him, but they couldn't afford him. Tottenham made a late approach for him. PSG, I heard, were in for him. Barcelona were also in for him. Ronald Koeman said he wanted to sign him. He said earlier on this year that Real Madrid had reached an agreement to get Donny van de Beek for around £47 million. But I believe that, when Donny van de Beek obviously refused to play for Ajax in their pre-season game against Frankfurt, And he obviously told his teammates that he was joining Manchester United, and he told Mark Overmars and Edwin van der Sar that he will not be playing for Ajax again. Edwin van der Sar, though, did say a few months ago that Donny van de Beek would have been allowed to leave for a suitable fee. Ajax's head coach admitted it was likely he was going to leave. But I think Donny van de Beek is going to exceed expectations in the Premier League. I think he's going to complement Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba fantastically well in our midfield. Solskjaer's planning to play him alongside Fernandes and Pogba. What convinced Donny van de Beek, though, to come to Man United was obviously Solskjaer, because I heard recently that Solskjaer had a phone conversation with Donny van de Beek, persuading him to actually, come to the football club. He's going to be wearing the number 34 shirt. That has been confirmed. That's to pay tribute, I think, to one of his friends, is it? And he's going to be the 13th Dutch player to play for Manchester United. He's going to be making his debut for the club against Crystal Palace on the opening day. But Donny van de Beek, was at Ajax for several years. Joined their youth set-up in 2008. He was in their youth set-up for around 7 years. Made his senior debut in 2015. Donny van de Beek scored 41 goals in 175 appearances for Ajax in all competitions. Did still have a contract with them until 2022. In the 2018-19 season, he was key for Ajax getting to the Champions League semi-final, and he also won the domestic double in the 2018-19 season. But for Ajax, Donny van de Beek was primarily a number 6. He is predominantly a box-to-box midfielder, but I think he can also be deployed as an attacking midfielder, but he is only the age of 23. Ajax have let quite a few of their players go. They now let Donny van de Beek go. They let Hakim Ziyech go to Chelsea in February. They let Frankie de Jong go to Barcelona last summer, and they also let Matthijs de Ligt go. So there you go. So Donny van de Beek and Pogba in as the two midfielders. Then Bruno Fernandes as the number 10 attacking midfielder. I definitely think Bruno Fernandes has made a difference in the team since he came in. Obviously, we got Bruno Fernandes in January from Sporting Lisbon, didn't we? Don't forget he's won Premier League Player of the Month 3 times since he's come in, as Bruno Fernandes scored like 12 or 13 goals in all competitions since his arrival. But definitely Bruno Fernandes is the foreseeable future for Man United. On the left-hand side, Marcus Rashford. I've said to you, didn't I, there's still aspects of Rashford's game that's got to improve. Obviously, we had the bad news regarding Marcus Rashford recently because he sustained an ankle injury. And I said, didn't I, he's a doubt for England's games against Iceland and Denmark. Obviously, last season he sustained a back injury for us, and he was out with that back injury for a few months. I think probably Rashford's more effective out wide than he is playing centrally. Rashford's been part of the club for several years. I think in total he's been at Manchester United around 15 years. He's now 22. Obviously joined the club at the age of 7. Rashford's been in our senior squad since 2016, and since then has become an integral part of our team. And I like what he's done with children as well. I like what he's done with that, so I've got to credit him for that as well. On the right-hand side, Mason Greenwood. I told you this is how the lineup stands at the moment, the best 11. Mason Greenwood on the right. Obviously, if we sign Sancho, it'll be Sancho on the right. Mason Greenwood, like I said, he did very, very well last season for Man United. I think last season was his first full season in the senior squad. For the vast majority of last season, though, a lot of Mason Greenwood's appearances were coming off the bench. But at the final part of the season, after lockdown, that Mason Greenwood was getting a lot of starts. Obviously, he was getting there ahead of Daniel James. And obviously, up top, Anthony Martial. I've been so impressed with Anthony Martial. Obviously, Anthony Martial has endured 5 years with Manchester United. We got him in 2015 from Monaco for around £36 million. I think Martial's had 2 good seasons out of the 5 seasons he's been with us. He did well last season under Solskjaer, and he did very, very well in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Obviously, Martial, has been playing in that number 9, and I think he'll continue to play in that number 9. So yeah, so that is Man United's best 11 as it stands at the moment. Obviously on my videos yesterday, I give you the news, didn't I, on Thiago Alcantara from Bayern Munich. Obviously Solskjaer's held talks with him, and we're looking to hijack Liverpool's move for the player. The news on Jadon Sancho. Obviously we're set to finalise the salary and the fees of Sancho's agent before we put a bid in for the player. So Sancho to Man United is still a possibility. Obviously, we're looking to get a centre-half in. Dayot Upamecano from Leipzig has been in our agenda recently because we're looking for someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. But yeah, I'm delighted that we've got Donny van de Beek in, first sign of the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer knows we need more than him. Solskjaer said now he's looking to make 3 more signings after Donny van de Beek, because obviously Solskjaer is looking to improve the squad. Because there's still key areas where Manchester United are lacking. But I did say, didn't I, that Solskjaer deserves to be backed in this summer transfer window, because I think Solskjaer is progressing as Manchester United manager. He has been at the football club now around 20 months, something like that, including the 3 months when he was the interim manager. And I have taken positives from his tenure so far. Like I said, our recruitment's improved under him. I think he's also promoted the youth very, very well. Solskjaer's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into Manchester United. I think definitely there's certain players that have improved under him. So definitely positives to take. Obviously, Solskjaer has spent over £200 million at Manchester United since he came in. Last summer brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. And in January, bought Bruno Fernandes and brought Odi Nagalo in on loan. We've probably got a decision to make on Odi Nagalo as well. Obviously, just after lockdown, we extended his loan until January 2021. Doesn't include the obligation to buy her out. But could we decide to get Odi Nagalo permanently? Could we? Obviously, we brought him in on deadline day as a cover-up to Marcus Rashford, because at the time we brought Nagalo in, obviously Rashford was out with injury, and we've just recently brought Donny van de Beek in, and also too, Solskjaer has brought a few academy players in. So that's very, very good. So there's good that a lot of young players are coming in. There's a lot of good young players coming through at Manchester United. But yeah, don't get me wrong, there's still improvements needed at Man United. I think there's aspects of our game that's got to improve. There's still certain players that have got to improve. I think Solskjaer needs to improve his decision making. And like I said to this season is the big test for Solskjaer, because this season is his second full season at the club, and this season he's going to have bigger expectations to exceed. I said, one of our expectations this season will be to challenge for the Premier League title, because we failed to mount any kind of title challenge up for the last 7 years, and we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. And another one of the expectations will be to win a trophy. Obviously, we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. And we haven't won a major honour for over 3 years. And that's the first time this has happened in 31 years. But Solskjaer must exceed expectations. I recently went through with you how Manchester United can win the title under Solskjaer. And that is making at least 5 signings in this summer transfer window. Obviously, keeping the players that we need. Also, getting rid of more players, because there is still deadwood at the football club. We could get rid of up to at least 8 players in this summer transfer window. Obviously, we're looking to get rid of the likes of Jesse Lingard, Andres Pereira, Chris Smalling, Rojo, Jones, Delors. Obviously, as you all know, Sergio Romero, he's open to leaving the football club. Fred did recently say that he wants to leave Manchester United, but we sell players in this summer transfer window will generate money, and it will help us with our rebuilding process. But last season was obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season at the football club. And I thought he exceeded most of his expectations. Obviously got us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League, and also got us third. And the first part of last season, you wouldn't have thought he'd have exceeded any expectations, because obviously the first part of last season we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. But reflecting on that good vein of form, when we went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions, that played a part in Solskjaer remaining at Man United. Don't forget as well, we are unbeaten in the league since January. We are unbeaten in our last 14 league games. Wait there a second. We are unbeaten in our last 14 league games, yeah. But this is actually, I think, our best vein of form since Solskjaer was the interim manager. Like I said, Tino, Man United were beginning to lose patience with the board before the news came out about Donny van de Beek. Obviously, reflects on the lack of transfer activity, reflects on how poor our recruitment policy's been for several years. Obviously, we've overpaid for players as well in several years. And we've made mistakes in a lot of transfer windows. We really, really have. But we've been critical of Woodward and the Glazers for several years. There's obviously explanations behind it, like I've just said to you. Woodward's been at the football club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. But Solskjaer did publicly come out and say that Manchester United have got to spend in this summer transfer window if we are to compete with the likes of City, Liverpool, and now perhaps Chelsea. And he instructed our board to spend a substantial amount. But I don't know if Solskjaer is the foreseeable future for Man United. I don't know if he's the right manager. I think this season is going to tell the story if he is the right manager. Because if we was to have if we was to do well this season, then there could be a possibility chance we could extend Solskjaer's contract. If we was to do poor this season, then I think Solskjaer will be back under pressure as Manchester United manager. It all depends, doesn't it? But it's very imperative that we do have a strong start to this season. Don't forget, the vast majority of this team is not Solskjaer's. Solskjaer's inheriting players here from the Jose Mourinho era, still a few players here from the Van Gaal era, Matter here from the Moyes era, still a few players here from the Ferguson era, but the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's and all of that. But in the last 7 years, we've had different managers with different philosophies. We've spent close to the £1 billion range on players. We've got players on big contracts. We've recruited around 30 odd players in since Ferguson left. This includes the players we've brought in under Solskjaer. I think a lot of the players we've brought in the last 7 years haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. We have made some good signings, and there's players we've brought in who we should have kept and who we got rid of and all of that. Should have kept Herrera, should have kept Romelu Lukaku and all of that. I think there's also some players we give contracts to who we shouldn't have given contracts to, so that's another mistake we also made. In the entirety of our history, we have won 45 trophies. 38 of them trophies obviously came under Ferguson. We've only won 3 trophies in the last 7 years since Ferguson retired, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League and the League Cup under Jose Mourinho and all of that. But not long now until the season starts. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you with today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.